Hey y'all. Next question asks, when is drinking okay as a believer? Before I really get into this, I told you I'd share with you the resources that if I came across a really great resource, I would share that with you. One of the great resources that I found in prepping for this one was an article on crosswalk.com by the author was Christy Shipe. And the article title is "What Does the Bible Say About Alcohol?" And she listed 6 statements from the Bible and gave biblical support, biblical passages to support those conclusions. Thought it was articulated really well. I thought it was concise. It's about a 2.5, 3-minute read. So I'd encourage you to check that out if you've got more questions after this video. Let me just say that one of the things that you should be aware of if you're not already is we're going to get more clarity from the Bible on when it is not okay to drink than when it is okay to drink. And I think that actually gives us a bit of a clue, an indication of the direction maybe we should lean. First, keep in mind, it is unbiblical to break the law. Romans 13:1 is very clear on that. So if me drinking would violate or break the law, then that's not okay as a believer. That's sin. That's outside the design and will of God. One of the things when it comes to drinking, though, that I think is incredibly important, besides just me listing like 7 things not to do and 8 things to do when making your decision, is I think you have to answer your why. And you have to weigh that decision, right? If it's to meet some social norm, if it's to create an appearance of something, if it's to fit in, then I think that's going to help us know what we're aiming at. And remember, if my aim is not Christ, then my aim is wrong. So you really want to weigh what your why is. There are scenarios in the Bible where drinking is permitted, but you'll not find a case where drinking is commanded. The article that I referenced does a great job of highlighting a few of those. So I'm going to try to link that in this if you want to check that out. But it does highlight scenarios where it is permitted. You're going to find there are times in the Bible that drinking is forbidden, and you're also going to find in the Bible times that drinking is unwise. There are some scenarios, though. There are some universal out-of-bounds lines on this. It can't violate your conscience, right? Like if you feel convicted about it, if it feels wrong to you, then you should not engage in it. If it would cause somebody else to stumble, you shouldn't engage in it out of love for the other person. And that's one that almost all of us that went to youth group heard growing up. The one that I don't think was given enough attention growing up is if it offends others, I should not engage in it. Look, this has to do with people that I know, love, and respect, but this also has to do with people that are like a Karen about it, right? So whether it is right for you to be offended, whether it is reasonable and makes sense for you to be offended, or even if it's the case where you're just a Karen that just wants to keep anybody from ever doing anything, in both scenarios, out of love for you, I should abstain. So when I'm around you, whether you are someone that I love or someone that I have a hard time being around, but I'm going to try my best to love you anyways, regardless, out of love for you, if it offends you, I should abstain. And when I say I in this video, I mean like a universal I, not I, Andy Brady. So not when it causes someone to stumble, not when it would offend someone, and not when it would hinder the gospel. And while it may sound like, how would it hinder the gospel? It's simple. There's some places and there are some people that think if you are a Christian, it's wrong for you to be drinking. And so they're not going to hear what you have to say because in their mind, you're already a hypocrite. Because someone somewhere along the way told them that people that love and follow Jesus don't drink alcohol. Whether they're right or wrong in that position actually doesn't matter. Because if you engage in drinking, then it's going to hinder whether or not they're open to receiving the gospel. So out of love for them, I'm not going to engage. So if it violates your conscience, it's out of bounds. If it would cause someone to stumble, you're out of bounds. If it would offend someone, you're out of bounds. If it would hinder the gospel, you're out of bounds. And if you're getting drunk, you're out of bounds. And so any of those, it's an automatic no. Anything outside of that, I think you've got to weigh your why and try to discern and figure out why it is that you're going for it. But yes, there are times that the Bible does permit it, but much of this has to do with your personal walk and where you are in that, and where you feel, where you have peace versus where you have a pause. So I can't answer that fully for you. I do think it is telling that the Bible gives us many scenarios when it is inappropriate, and a few scenarios that it might be appropriate. It kind of leaves those up to your individual walk with Christ. But I will throw this caveat in there. If you are a student at a seminary that forbids drinking, if you're a missionary, say like with Go Now Missions, or if you're on a mission trip with a church, or you work for the IMB as a missionary, maybe you're an intern or a leader in a ministry. If you're in an organization that forbids it, then it's forbidden altogether, and it would be sin for you to violate that. I hope this helps.